Hello and welcome to the video for Thursday, October 22nd for interactive design. I'll let you guys in from the waiting room.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, Trevor, I like your Halloween profile pic there. Pretty nice. It looks just like you. Let's see. How's everybody doing today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good. Let's see. Yeah, I can see you right in that picture. Okay, hello, James. Hope you're doing well today. Let me go ahead and put you guys into the attendance. And then we can get started up. Okay, so I'm just gonna put you guys here in the attendance log for interactive design. And there we go. All right. So now you guys are aware that we pushed the deadline for the Halloween project back 1 week to the 29th, right? Is there anybody that didn't get the memo and finish their Halloween project today?
I finished it, but I received the memo.
You did receive the memo, but you finished?
Yes.
Can we look at yours?
Yes.
Okay, and it's in
It's
your...
the final.
Is it in the folder?
In my folder.
Okay. Okay.
I uploaded the FLA file because I don't know in what format do you want it. So you have to test. Click on test.
Okay, so it's called Halloween Add VER Final.FLA.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll just download that. Oh, it's a big file.
Yeah, it's a big ad.
Okay. It's a big project. That's why it's a big file. Hey, well, while it's downloading, I'll entertain you guys by showing you my animation that I just did for my animation class. All right. Let's see. So I'm going to share my screen, Well, actually, I'll show you several animations. So these are, wow, I wonder why they're looking so weird. I need to get on there. So there's a thing called animating on ones and animating on twos. And when you animate on ones, you draw something new on every single frame. When you animate on twos, you keep the same object on the stage for 2 frames. And so we just did an exercise like this in my animation class. And so the guy on the left is being animated on ones. He's this bottom row up here. And you can see that there's something in every single frame. The guy on the right is being animated on twos. So each frame stays twice as long on the stage. And what it makes it look like is it looks like he has a slower, smoother jump. So let's watch this. See how that works?
Yes.
So that was one student's work. And then this was another student doing the same exercise. Okay. And then this was mine. So now that's something you guys can use in your animations too. If you're animating something and you want it to go very smoothly, you can keep it on the stage for 2 frames. And if you want it to be sort of a quick, more erratic animation, you can change it every single frame. And I know you guys aren't necessarily doing character animations like this, but even with, that's even true with things like, you know, if you just have a logo coming in, if you want to have it come in fast, you know, you can do this type of animation. All right, so let me check and see how we're doing with the download. Let's see, go off the screen. Where are my downloads? It's not this. Okay, it's not Chrome, maybe it's Safari. Okay, here it is. Looks like it's ready. Okay. All right, so you guys ready to see Livia's Halloween animation ad? All right, here we go.
I don't know why the music ended, because when I play it in animate, the music continues, doesn't stop. If you can see what happened.
Well, I can tell you probably why that is. It's because when it plays in animate, it's right there on your computer and it plays at a steady rate. But when it loads up into the browser, it plays at a slightly different rate. And so what it means is you would probably have to have the music be longer so that it actually plays throughout the whole animation in
No, but
the
it's longer. Is it uh that music takes almost 3 minutes, and this is less than 3 minutes.
browser. Yeah, I mean that's the only answer that I have for you is you know, if it plays perfectly in Animate and it doesn't play perfectly in the browser, it's because the browser is processing it. It's processing the music at a different rate than it's processing the images. And so, you know, unfortunately, you would probably just have to keep experimenting with it in the browser until you got the two to match up. But your animation looks great. It's so long and detailed. I like that at the end. That was hysterical with all the cutouts and everything. What did you guys think? You have any feedback for Olivia on her animation?
I really liked your artwork with the red and the green. Did you do that?
What red and green? What? The
Edges?
colored.
Yeah,
Yes, I did that.
it looks so good.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looked really good. It was super fun. It was really funny. I thought the music worked really well. And so, yeah, really nice ad. And, you know, yeah, maybe try extending the music out even a little longer. And then,
Can you see the file? The music go all the way.
yeah, but you understand what I'm telling you. Even if that's the case, it doesn't play that way in the browser. So you have to make the music longer than the actual animation.
And how can I edit the music in Flash? Do I have to copy and paste that in another layer?
You could do that, and then you could have the music kind of fade out on one track and fade in on another one. Do you know how to do that?
In Animate, no.
Okay. So in Animate,
Is the last one layer.
okay, I'm just waiting for my damn computer to react to the fact that I'm asking it to do something. Okay. All right. So here's your music, for example,
Mhm.
right? Let's see.
And I also all the logo and everything up there. They are buttons.
Oh, you know what else? We could try this. Your audio is right now set to event. We could change it to stream and see if it syncs up a little better.
Okay.
So it looks like you have at least 3 audio things here, right?
Yes, one is the music and the other are effects, sound effects.
Okay, I'm gonna set them all to stream. And we'll just try it again.
And you didn't try the buttons.
I did all 3.
No, the buttons of the ad.
What? The what?
You know that there is by now, and there are the social icons, and there is the logo. They are all buttons.
They're all buttons. Okay. Oh,
Yes.
I didn't try them. That's what you're saying.
No, yes.
Okay. All right. I'll try them this time. Control test movie in browser. Okay, we're gonna watch it one more time, guys, just to see if the music's any better. Trevor says it was great. I liked all the movement, and it's really well done.
Thank you.
Okay, so bear with us, guys. We're gonna see if this solves the music problem, and also try out her buttons. Yeah, unfortunately, the audio still ends.
But try the buttons.
Okay, so these up here,
All that are
Okay.
buttons. Also the logo.
the logo.
Also the logo.
Oh, cool. The ghost lights up.
You can click.
Where's it gonna take me?
You're going to know.
Oh, yay, Dreamco. Okay, and then let's see, buy now.
All is to you.
They all go there?
Mhm.
Okay, nice, but they look good. Okay, yeah, these cutouts are hysterical, but
Mhm.
yeah, unfortunately, I've experienced stuff like that with Adobe Animate before, where you know, everything doesn't sync up, so I just have to keep hacking it in Animate until it works in the browser, and then it's good. Okay, but it looks really nice.
Thank you.
All right. So you know, obviously you guys are gonna work some more on your projects that haven't done for next week. What I thought we'd do today is a little tutorial here. We got a couple of tutorials here, so I'm not sure how far we'll get, but we can try this first one. It's called Design Social Media Content. So you can click on that link, and let's see. It says, want to share your anime creations over social media channels, but not sure how. We'll see how to export a character animation as video that can be easily shared across Twitter, Facebook, and more. So it looks like this, unfortunately, this doesn't give us, it's not a tutorial where we can work along with it. It just kind of shows us what happens. So we'll watch this, and then the other tutorial I have there, using layer effects and animate. This one actually gives us the files that we can work with. So let's watch this first one and see what he has to tell us.
Want to share your animate creations over social media channels, but not sure how? We'll see how to export a character animation as video that can be easily shared across Twitter, Facebook, and more. So this is the document that we uploaded to Twitter as an MP4 file. You'll note that the puppy is in the center of the screen. There's just too much white space around it, and if we wanted to, we could easily resize everything so that the puppy would be able to be front and center. To do this, we could choose Advanced Settings in the Properties panel and anchor everything to the center, and then adjusting our stage size to something like 800 by 700. If we hit OK, then now we have an animation where the puppy is definitely front and center. However, there are other ways to do this. We can also create a new document and insert this content into it. So if I shift-click to select both of our layers, and then right-click and choose to copy layers, I can then create a new document through File, New, and in the new document window, I can choose one of these social presets. If I want to share something on Facebook or Twitter or YouTube, I can choose from these presets. Perhaps I want to choose an in-stream photo on Twitter. I can choose that preset and hit Create. Let's go ahead and go to 100% to see how that's going to look. From here, I'm going to go into my library. And down at the bottom of the library, I can create a new symbol by clicking this little icon right here. We'll call this symbol Puppy and hit OK. As you can see, we're now within the puppy symbol. And I can right-click on layer 1 and choose to paste the layers that I copied from the Scared Puppy FLA. If I now scrub and zoom out, I can see my scared puppy. Let's go back out to scene 1 and recenter the stage. And then go ahead and drag our new puppy movie clip symbol from the library onto the stage. You can see it appears rather large here, but we can easily use the free transform tool and holding down the shift key, rescale this so that it's really front and center. The original timeline takes about 350 frames. So what we'll do is go out to about 350 frames, roughly 14 seconds. And if we select and right click, we can insert frames in order to give ourselves enough room for this to play back. We can now go ahead and export this as an MP4 or an animated GIF. I'll choose to export as video. And I'll just call it puppy.mov and hit export. Within Adobe Media Encoder, we can now search through our presets. So underneath web video and social media, here is Twitter. That sounds just fine. So we'll drag that onto puppy.mov and then go ahead and hit the Start Queue button. This will render the video for us. Now back to Twitter, we can go ahead and create a new tweet. And attach a video, puppy.mp4, open. And then we can tweet it. All right, so our tweet was posted, and that looks a lot better. The puppy's now front and center.
Okay, so lots of cool things in there, lots of cool techniques that he did, like copying a couple layers and pasting them into a new symbol in a new document that he had set up using a preset, a social media preset in Animate. And then also, exporting that as a movie file and then using the media encoder presets to make sure that it processed at exactly the rate, the size and resolution that Twitter wants it. So that's a really cool, helpful video for getting stuff on social media. Okay, so let's see now, Spike. Let's see, really important question: is it GIF or GIF? That is a really important question. That is it tomato or tomato? I don't think that there is. I don't think that there is a bona fide exact answer on that. I think most people say, well, I can't even speak to what most people say. What do I say, GIF or GIF? I say GIF because GIF reminds me of Jiffy peanut butter. I don't like to think of it like that. So I just say GIF. What do you guys say? You think it's a GIF or a GIF?
A GIF.
A GIF? Oh, so you say GIF? Okay, I like the peanut butter. Anybody else? Any other pronunciations for this? I mean,
I say both.
You say both?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, there isn't I don't know that there's a standard for that. Let's actually, let's look it up online. If we look it up on Wikipedia, maybe it'll, or the dictionary.com, maybe it'll say. It'll probably say pronounced both ways. That's my guess. Yeah. Oh, look, but it has GIF first. GIF or sometimes GIF. So I guess you win, Amelia. Let's see. Yeah, and there's no pronunciation note for GIF. It is understandable that computer users who encounter this acronym for the first time might well assume that since the G stands for graphic, GIF should be similarly pronounced, graphic, GIF, with an initial hard G as in give. However, the inventor of the format, Steve Wilhite, has insisted from his introduction at a computer conference in the late 1980s that the pronunciation is GIF, with a soft G as in gelatin or giant. That pronunciation is even part of the official specification for the format and is the one used by many computer gurus, but both pronunciations are commonly used. Wow, so there is a correct and it's Jif like peanut butter. Okay, now I know. Thank you for asking that question. But you're gonna encounter both kinds, so that's the reality. Okay, let's see, go back here. Okay, so let's see, Spike, did you want to show us your files that you're working on?
Yeah, I would like to. Yeah, I guess I should like let everyone know that it's not animated because I had to. Sorry, I have a very vocal cat back here. Okay. Kid, what?
Stop tormenting the cat.
Come here. She's just mad because I wasn't holding her.
Oh.
Let's see. What was I saying? Oh yeah. I've had a lot of stuff building up, so I decided to try and multitask by putting stuff together. The stuff I made was actually created for my D&D group. But I figured I could probably argue that it fits with this, and yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah, you want to show us, you want to share your screen and show us the graphics?
Sure. Let me pull everything. Okay. Share screen. And I think it'd be this one. Share. You guys can see it?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I'll go first to last. That generally makes sense. The first one I made was actually not that one. The what? Crap. There we go. This is the first one I made right here. It's might be a little hard to see. I don't know what it looks like to you guys. The first one I made is a little bit darker. My intention was to have it look like it was carved into stone. This is a character from the campaign. He's long story short, he kind of leads a terrorist rebellion organization kind of thing. And this is the translated version, which is when Dragon returns, where will you be? Because in the story right now, he's kind of disappeared. This was the second one I made because the point of the organization is that it's anti-goblin and anti-orc. So it shows dead dwarf, bundle of mystery, toy, and goblin holding the toy. All of these were made using a base of. I just had some images that I had found a base of, and then I'd heavily modify them. And some of the things, such as the dwarf down here, I had to create my own model using Hero Forge, and then kind of like maneuver the camera around it to get a good angle. Translated, it's now where would a goblin have gotten one of those? Trying to kind of like, because again, the point of all this is that it's propaganda. So it's, yeah, kind of saying, well, it's kind of obvious. He's a bad man. Don't like him. And then the most recent one I have, or no, I created two other ones. I don't think I created a translated version. There is this one, which is also of the same characters as before. It says, last time he left, Dragon returned 10 years later with weapons that nearly took over the country or the continent. Imagine what he'll bring us this time. And the last one is the person that's not meant to be carved in stone, and it's the one that I am actually the most happy with so far. And it says, Vengeful Alliance is the name of the organization. This is meant to be, it takes a strong hand, and down here it's to lead a family this large. And yeah.
Wow, those look really nice, Spike.
Thanks. Yeah.
Now, what language is that?
It's English, but using a what's called Dalek, which is a Dwarvish text that I
Oh.
found online.
Okay, cool. So it's like a different font or something?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they look really cool. Now, if you wanted to consider animating these at all, maybe you could do something like bring the image up and then animate the text in or something like that.
Yeah. Like I could do this one and have like this stuff down here is meant to be like a gas, so I could have that shifting back and forth. Maybe have
Okay.
the flags waving.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, what if you experimented with just one of these? Like were they done in like Illustrator?
These were actually done in Photoshop. I think one part elements I had to first make in Illustrator and then move them from there to Photoshop. Specifically this symbol down here.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get them over into Animate, you know, as separate pieces, then you can turn them into symbols and start playing with them a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it looks really good though. Nice job. Olivia says they look cool, Spike. So nice job.
Thank you. I'll stop sharing now.
Okay. Now I also wanted to mention when we were talking about the GIFs, Grady says the creator said it's GIF, but GIF makes more sense because it stands for graphics interchange format. So, you know, I think it's one of those things that's never going to be resolved in our lifetime, and you just have to be accepting of both. Okay, is there anybody else who has a project that they want to show us any part of and get feedback on?
Oh, I do. I just need to upload it real quick.
Okay, I'll give you a second to do that. In the meantime, what you guys may want to do is go to the class website. Let's see, let me go there myself. Wrong place. pima.dreamco.com. Okay, while you're waiting, go to the class website, go to interactive design, go to this second tutorial today, the using layer effects and animate, and then click on this get files and download all the files for that. And then you can open that up and then open up the FLA. And then we can do the tutorial about creating effects for this. Okay, let's see. So we're going to learn to apply filters and color effects to a layer. And we're going to learn to tween filters and effects to add depth of field, shadows, and more to our animation. All right, let me check something real quick. Okay, FLA. Now, one point that I need to make is this file that we're going to be working with. Actually, you know what? Sorry, I just realized I'm not sharing my screen. This file that we're going to be working with is an FLA. And of course, FLAs will not play on the internet. So what that means is that these techniques that he's showing us, that may or may not work in HTML5 Canvas documents. Now, there are two different, you know, formats that you can export from two main animation formats that you can export to from Adobe Animate. You know, one is, you know, you're starting with the FLA format, and that creates an SWF, which stands for Shockwave Flash file. And those files will only play in very dedicated pieces of software. They won't play on the internet. They won't play on mobile Apple devices. They won't play anywhere except something that's exclusively for Flash, right? But you can also export into, you know, HTML5, and those will play everywhere. So if we are going to learn these techniques, one place you might use these is if you were going to make like animations that ended up as videos. So like if you watch a little bit of this animation here on the screen, you'll see, you know, he's got a little guy walking in a little shadow. Well, if he was going to make a cartoon out of this and export it to YouTube, no problem, because the format it ends up in is like an MP4 or something, right? So, you know, you just need to know what the different paths are that you can take with each of these formats. If you're using FLA, it's sort of like a cul-de-sac. You can't go everywhere with an FLA. You can only go one location, and that is, you know, usually to export it to some type of video or something. Or make a Flash game that will live on a website that supports Flash games, or, you know, something very specific to FLAs. Whereas if you're making a HTML5 file, it's more like, you know, you've hit a 5-way intersection or something like that, where you can go many different directions. You can go on the web, you can go on mobile devices, and that will be all the places you can put it. Okay, so let's see. Amelia, did you upload your file yet?
I did.
Okay, so let me go to here, Amelia. Let's see, 252. Okay, and what should I be looking at?
Halloween icons.
Okay, so do you want some feedback from us or what?
I'm pretty much just sharing them. I mean, I'll
Okay.
take some feedback. But yeah, these are just some of my icons so far.
What do you guys think? Do you like these icons?
Yes.
Yeah, I like them too. I like the little pumpkin carrying case that you put candy in, and then the candy corn, this little gummy bear.
Gummy bear.
Yeah, gummy bear looks like he's had an ear bitten off or something like that. Yeah, they look really good. So now, how are these going to be incorporated into your animation?
So you'll open the door of my Halloween advent calendar, and then it'll either be a picture of a candy or like a fact in a corresponding clip art like this cornucopia.
Oh, okay, cool.
Mhm.
I noticed what Trevor said. He says the icons are great. Grady says they're nice. He says, I mean, I personally don't like candy corn, but it looks good. And Grady says agreed. And I think that's funny because candy corn to me is like the most addictive non-taste candy in the world. Like, candy corn doesn't taste like anything. Am I wrong? I mean, it just tastes like nothing.
Love candy corn.
And but like, if you give me a handful of candy corn, I have to eat all of it because I don't know what it is. But are you guys like that? Like, what do you think? Do you like candy corn, Amelia?
I love candy corn. Yeah.
Oh, you love candy corn. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, it's one of the, I guess it's an acquired taste, like escargot or something. Okay, let's see. Trevor says he'll donate his candy corn. He knows where to send it now. Spike says it tastes like wax. Oh, and then Trevor says candy corn and circus peanuts are vile. Well, okay. You know, everybody has to eat, different strokes for different folks. I mean, different people like different candies. Do you guys know those candies that have kind of like a peanut butter taste to them? Those little, you know what I mean? They're all wrapped up and they're all peanut buttery. Those I think should be used to torture foreign agents that come into our country. Just give them those little peanut butter candies until they talk. Now, if you guys like those, I'm sorry, but that's just my feeling. Let's see. So Amelia, you have some company here. James says he likes candy corn too, just not the turkey dinner flavored ones. Yes, those exist, and my mom bought a bag. Never again. Oh my God, that's disgusting. Turkey dinner flavored candy corn. I think I'm gonna yarg. Now, by the way, do you guys know about that Thanksgiving dinner soda that they have? Any of you guys aware of that? I mean, since we're talking about gross holiday treats. Trevor says no, but he's intrigued. So I believe it is Jones Soda Company. You guys familiar with Jones? They're one of their innovations was they had customers send in pictures of themselves and they printed those on the bottles. but they have this 6-pack that they release every year around the holidays. And what they are is it's Thanksgiving flavored sodas. So one tastes like turkey, one tastes like stuffing, one tastes like cranberry sauce, and they're disgusting. But they actually do kind of taste like what they say they're supposed to taste like. So let me see if I can find some. Let's see, where do I have to go to find this stuff? Okay, so we'll say Jones Soda Thanksgiving. Oh, it said Thanksgiving pack. Let's see. So Thanksgiving pack 2020. Let's see. All right. All right. Look at this. These are all the flavors they have. Oh my God, this is the grossest one. Turkey and gravy soda. Green bean casserole soda. I would give this to somebody I don't like very much. Mashed potato soda. Oh my God. Anyway, so yeah, you got it, Trevor. These are all yours. Anyway, if you guys are into this stuff, you can probably find a place to buy that, or if you want to, you know, play a joke on somebody, get them some of this for Thanksgiving. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So Amelia, are your icons going to be animated at all, or are the doors just going to be animated?
They might be animated, but it won't be anything fancy.
Yeah, it'll be like just kind of the dancing bear or whatever, right? Okay. All right, sounds good. All right, so why don't we go to the tutorial? Hopefully you guys have downloaded these files by now and opened up the file that has the little animated guy in it. And then let's see what we can see.
So in this video, I'm going to show you how to use layer effects. And what's really cool about layer effects is that before we could only apply these effects or filters to the instances of movie clips. But now we can apply them to layers, which means that anything that resides inside a layer can have an effect applied to them. So to demonstrate this, I have a graphic symbol that contains a nested animation of a walk cycle. So let's say we want to add a realistic shadow to this character. We can do.
Okay, so what we got to do is figure out, the problem here is that he's given us the walk cycle with the shadow on it already. So I think in order to actually test this thing out, it looks like the download we has everything working already. So maybe what we need to do is go to this shadow layer and click on the eyeball to turn that off, so that we don't see the shadow. And then we can make a new layer where we can add a shadow to this guy.
Do that through the use of layer effect. So what I'm going to do is right click over the layer containing our animation, and I'm going to duplicate the layer. I'm going to drag.
Okay, so let's start with that. Let's see if there's a way to use his file to do this. So what you want to do is go up here to this thing called walk cycle. You want to right click on it and you want to duplicate the layer. And so now you're going to have a new one called walk cycle 2 or something like that. Walk cycle copy.
This layer below the original layer, and let's rename it walk cycle shadow.
Okay, so we're gonna grab this layer and drag it down below the original layer. We're gonna click on it. Sorry, didn't mean to start it. We're gonna double click on the name there and call it walk cycle _ shadow.
Okay, so now I'm going to lock the top layer, and I'm also going to convert it to outlines just so it's easier to see the layer underneath and what I'm doing. I'm going to select the instance on the stage and grab the free transform tool, and I'm going to position.
Okay, so he did a couple things really quickly there. So the first thing we're going to do is the top layer is already locked. Actually, this is weird the eyeball is off on that. So I just turned it back on. I don't know why it was off. But we have to unlock the second layer. So you should have a layer called walk cycle. The eyeball should be, you shouldn't have any eyeball in this column here. In other words, we can see it. You should have the top layer locked. And then what you want to do is you want to click on this little vertical rectangle here, which is called outline. And what that'll do is it'll take the top layer and it'll turn it into outline. So now you can see these little outlines of the figure, right? Just the top layer, we want to do that too. Now, the next thing that he did was, I can't remember if he clicked on the top layer or the bottom one. I'm thinking it was the bottom one, but let's go back a little and see what he did.
I'm going to select the instance on the stage and grab the free transform tool. And I'm going to.
I can't see because this little playback thing is over the top of it, so I can't see which one he selected.
It's just so it's easier to see the layer underneath and what I'm doing. I'm going to select the instance on the stage and grab the free transform tool. And I'm going to position the center point down here. And this is just going to allow me to.
Okay, so it's the second one, which makes sense, the bottom one, because that's the only one we can really select right now. So what's going to happen is you're going to click on the, character right here, the first frame of that walk cycle shadow layer. And then you want to find your free transform tool, which is the second tool right here to the right. Now, my screen is set up kind of weird right now. You guys might not recognize this, the way that it's set up. Let me see. I'm going to go to workspaces and try and change it to essentials. Does that look more like what you guys see on yours? Do you guys have this kind of a layout? Or is your animation a timeline at the very top? Okay, well, I'm just going to use this layout for now. You can use whatever. Yeah, it says, so Trevor says yes, Renee says yes, hers looks like that too. Okay, so what we're going to do now is go to the free transform tool, which is the second one from the top here. Now, when you click on the free transform tool, it allows you to grab the anchor point, which is this center thing here. You want to grab that anchor point and drag it down to the middle of the bottom. Now, the anchor point is what you can rotate around from. It's the center point. So you can, now we can rotate and we can skew, and it's all going to be relative to that anchor point.
Cool. And I'm going to position the center point down here. And this is just going to allow me to then scale the artwork like this. And maybe even skew it over.
Okay, so now what you can do is grab this top handle here and just scale this guy down a bit, and then click and skew him over a little bit like this as well. What you're trying to do is get it to look like a shadow of this guy walking. So scale it down and then click and drag it over to the right a little bit so it's skewed over. Skewing is when you take something and like kind of bend it like a funhouse mirror one direction or the other.
Like this. Now what we want to do is just click on the frame in this layer. And now you'll notice in the properties panel, we can apply filters. So using the drop-down menu, I'm going to select drop shadow.
Okay. So what we're going to do is click on this very first frame of the walk cycle shadow. And then, now here's the fun part, because he's using an older version of this. We got to try and find where the hell they hide this stuff. Here it is. Under frame, there's something called filters down here. You need to click on the plus symbol, and then you need to go to drop shadow, and then it's going to show all of these options for the drop shadow filter that we just added.
If I scrub the timeline, you'll notice that this effect is applied to the entire layer. And so for this shadow to look convincing, we're going to need to actually play around with some of these settings. So the first thing we want to do is hide the object. This will actually hide the original artwork and just show us the drop shadow.
Okay, so let's start with that. Click on hide object. And then the actual graphic itself disappears. We just have the drop shadow for the object.
You might want to apply just a subtle amount of blur. So maybe a value of 3 will work really well.
Okay, the blur, our blur is already set to 4, so we're just going to leave that alone.
Strength, if you reduce the amount of strength, will lower the opacity of.
Okay, so strength is basically opacity. I don't know why they didn't call it opacity, but he reduced his down to 39%. So click on that number and drag to the left until it gets down to close to 39. It doesn't have to be exact, but you know, just close enough. And you'll see the shadow now becomes semi-transparent.
The shadow itself. And this is great if you have, say, a background that has lots of different colors and things like that. You want them to show through. Quality is up to you if you want to set it to low, medium, or high. I'm going to keep it at medium.
Okay, for quality right now it's set to low. Let's change it to medium. See if you can tell the difference in the quality of the graphic as it changes.
I typically just set the distance to 0.
Okay, now distance is currently set at 4. Let's set that to 0, and that will move it back so that it lines up with the character.
And so now when we scrub our timeline, you can see just how realistic this shadow looks.
Okay, so let's scrub the timeline. So you can click off of the object by just clicking anywhere on the stage here. And then as you start moving this, you'll see how good the shadow looks, because it's basically exactly the same animation, but just, you know, skewed down with all those special effects.
And if for whatever reason you want to play around with the perspective of the shadow, it's easy to do. Just click on the symbol in this layer, select the free transform tool, and adjust as necessary. But you're not limited to just adding drop shadows for characters. Let's add a bevel to our character.
Okay, so it looks like he very quickly made a copy of the character again. Hold on, let me back up a little bit so I can see him do this.
Transform tool, and adjust as necessary. But you're not limited to just adding drop shadows for characters. Let's add a bevel to our character.
Okay, so he's going to make another copy. So click on walk cycle, right click and say duplicate layer, and now there's walk cycle copy, which is on top of the other two.
So with the
Okay, and so now on that, we're going to add a new filter, which is called bevel. So click on the first frame of the walk cycle copy layer, come over here to filters, click plus, and then come down here and click on bevel.
for characters. Let's add a bevel to our character. So with the default settings, this is what the bevel looks like, but let's soften that a little bit.
Now, okay, I'm not seeing much of a bevel on mine. Maybe it's because my character's locked. Let me unlock it, click on it again. Let's see, but I should have applied the bevel. Maybe if I increase the amount of, I'm trying to see if I can see the bevel. Yeah, I don't see the bevel on this one. Let me take it off of the outlines. Oh, there we go. Wow, when you take it off of outlines, you see that it, but I made mine really big. So let me take it back to 4. Okay, there we go. So on the very top one, you know that little rectangle that goes straight up that's now an outline? Click on it to make it not an outline, and you should see your bevel. It's that little black area to the right of the character. All right.
Character. So with the default settings, this is what the bevel looks like, but let's soften that a little bit. So I'm going to lower the strength.
Okay, lower the strength to around 30. So we'll click on that and we'll go over to the right until it's about 30. And that's going to soften that up and make it blur in with the rest of the character a little better.
To a value of around 29 or 30%. I'm also going to adjust the amount of blur. By adding blur, you can give your character.
Okay, take the blur up to around 11. And oh, by the way, you might want to click on this little lock icon before you change your blur. So if you click on the lock icon, it will change both of them at the same time. So, and then go ahead and grab that and drag it up to like 11. Okay.
Or whatever resides in this layer, a nice sense of depth.
Okay, and now you can scrub your playback head. And you can see that just that little bit of the dark line and then the blurred shadow on the edge gives your character some depth. Okay.
And again, if you want to make any kind of adjustments, just select a frame in this layer, make whatever adjustments you need. If you want, you can even change the colors of the shadows and the highlights.
Okay, so now you can try changing a color. So down here in the filter where it says bevel, you have shadow and highlight colors here. Of course, we can change the quality to medium. And so if you want your shadow to be a different color, you just click on this and you just pick whatever color you want it to be. If you want your highlights to be a different color, you can pick the color you want them to be. And if you look very carefully, you may be able to see those on the figure. And if you can't quite see them, change them to something really neon-like, and you should be able to see a little bit of the highlight glow and a little bit of the color of the shadow kicking in there. Of course, if we were to take the strength way up, notice when you take your strength way up, then it becomes really obvious that the shadow is what's sticking to the right side of the character, and the highlight is what's sticking to the left side of them, right? But then, you know, obviously to make it look good, you want to take this back down to around 30-ish, and then you've got those colors there.
Another cool effect you can add, let's say you want to create an outline for your character.
Now, he made another copy very quickly, so we're going to do the same. So you can go to the original one, which is called Walk Cycle, right click on it and do duplicate layers, and then be sure and unlock that one. And I think at the very top one, I'm going to call Bevel. This one, the second one, the one we're working on now, I'm going to call Glow. And then the other ones are named appropriately. So let's be on this one, which is Glow. And now we're going to see one more special effect that you could do. So what you want to do to start with is pick the Glow filter. So click on the first frame of the Glow layer, come to filters, click the plus symbol and choose Glow. That's going to give us all our choices over there.
I'm going to select the glow effect. And so for this glow effect, I'm going to change the actual glow color to black because I want this character to have a black outline to it. And I'm going.
Okay, so change your glow color.
Taking that table out makes it look like there's so much room.
Change your
Your camera's still
glow
not working?
color.
Yeah. Actually was checking it. It's I went to my settings and checking the devices, and this is what happens. Malfunctioned, doesn't recognize it. There might be something wrong with the camera itself.
Okay. So what you want to do is go into your glow layer, click on that first thing, change the color to black, change the blur to about, make sure you lock your blur X and blur Y, click the lock icon, take that up to 13-ish. Okay, let's see what's next.
The actual glow color to black, because I want this character to have a black outline to it.
Now, he took his strength up to like 185, just so that I guess we could really see it. So I'm going to do the same. Get it up there really close. Now, on the glow layer, you're also going to have to click on that little rectangle and take it from outline to filled. All right, and now you'll start to see a black outline around your character.
And we're going to increase the strength to about 1,000.
Okay, so click on your strength there and just type in the number 1,000.
And the blur, I'm going to set to about 5.
And now you can click on the blur and drag it down until it's very low to around like 5.
So that in combination with beveling and the shadow really adds a nice touch of dimension to our character.
Okay, so now go ahead and scrub through your character. Click in the black area around the screen to deselect everything, and then just scrub with your character through the scene. Notice the combination of all those things, how three-dimensional he looks, the shadow shadow that's on the ground, plus the drop shadow that's on him and the highlight, and then plus, you know, the bevel edge and that dark outline, what they call the glow, but it looks like he turned that glow into an actual stroke around the character. So it looks really good. He did a nice job. Okay, so those are some techniques you can use. You can try those, of course, like I said, this is an FLA. And you can try those in an HTML5 document and see if they work. You know, I'm not sure because I haven't tried them yet, but they'll definitely work in this format if you're doing animations that are going to be turned into movies, cartoons and such. Okay. All right, so I think I'm going to give you guys some time now to work on your projects. Of course, the project is due next week now instead of today. So go ahead and take the rest of the period, work on your projects. If you have any questions, just pop in and ask me. I'll be here, but I'll turn my video off. And and I'll check back in at the end of the period and see how you guys are doing. Sound good?
Thank you, Greg.
You're welcome.